Hi, I'm Lauren again. I'm sorry that I haven't been video blogging in a while. The reason for that being is that I've had some computer troubles and I was also out of town for a while and unable to do that. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about in tonight's video blog. This is kind of serious. I know that I kind of joked around before. I talked about Miley Cyrus in one of my blogs, and another blog I talked about Job Corps and relationships being good or bad and whatnot. But this one is kind of something I wanted to raise awareness about. It's domestic violence. And I kind of want to share, not just for ladies out there, but also for gentlemen too, if there are signs that you could be in an abusive relationship and you not realize until it's too late. This was going to be, kind of a bashing video for my ex that I wasted 4 years of my life with, and even went as far as to move out of town with him only for, somebody that was ungrateful and selfish and, didn't care if he hurt me or anything like that. It was going to be one of those videos like that, but I kind of decided against it after a while. But I just wanted to share with you all the warning signs and some things that I probably saw in my previous relationship that could have been avoided, and maybe I wouldn't have moved down there if I would have paid attention to this a lot sooner. I'm not gonna go through like everything that we went through when I was out of town just to be with him, but I will say that it wasn't he wasn't the same guy that I met 4 years ago. I will say that much. Like when I first moved down there, it was cool for like the first week or so, and then at some point we were homeless. At some point, and he's always known this about me. He's always known that I'm one of those people that I like to stand up for myself. I can't just let somebody say something if I don't agree with it. He's always known that about me. Even when we went away to school several years ago, he knew that about me. So it shouldn't have been anything surprising to him. If I see something I like, I'm going to tell you. If I see something I don't like, I'm going to tell you. And I never, in my mind, I never nagged him or anything like that. I was never one of those people that was. In fact, I was pretty, I was pretty accepting of him for the most part. I mean, there were a lot of things he did that were crazy that let me know right off from the bat. But at the same time, he was real and he was genuine, and I accepted him. I loved him. I told all my friends and all my family about him. I was excited about him. I was excited for us to move out of town together, and excited for us to get our first apartment together. I was excited when I bought furniture, and then we bought a washer and dryer for that apartment. But eventually all of that went to pot. Okay, I'm trying to think where I want to start with this. Well, when we were homeless before we actually got our apartment, I actually had to go. We actually had to go to the unemployment office every day to look for jobs. Keep in mind, and again, I'm not gonna bash him. I mean, I'm past that. I've been back home for a few months now. I'm not gonna do the bitter ex-girlfriend thing. And at age 24, I'm a lot more mature than that. But when we were homeless, and keep in mind, I gave up my job, I gave up my friends, my family. I left both of my cats behind. Did I mention my car? And I just left all these things behind because he told me what a great life we were gonna have together. And you know what? I'm always going to be one of those people that's never going to say no to move into any state, just for the simple fact that I like that growing experience. I like that learning experience. I have so many exciting things going on in my life right now, so I'm never going to just straight up say no to any learning experience. But so I was like, yeah, we can move to Alabama. At first, the original plan was for him to move here. And I remember that, I would help him out whenever he was out of town. I would help him out whenever he needed it. And then eventually it was like in December when I finally moved to Alabama to be with him. And like I said, it started off okay at first, and yeah, I got off topic. The homeless thing. He gave me such a bad attitude about that, and of course I'm like, you know, I told him, I'm like, you know, I gave up everything to be here. You told me what a great life we were going to have. You told me that I was going to get on at your job making 13 or 14 an hour, and you know, you told me all these great things about Decatur, Alabama, and how great it's going to be and all that. And I mean, it's no secret that I grew up, you know, spoiled and used to having nice things. So I'm like, well, you know, starting off, maybe we're not going to have everything right away. And this would have been a red flag for me. I mean, from what I could tell from before, he and his mom had a pretty close relationship. But they did have their ups and downs like everybody else, and I didn't think anything about that because I'm like, you know, every family argues. But when it got to the point that we were homeless and he didn't even want to tell his mom or ask her for help just to get a place to stay until, I mean, we did eventually get an apartment, but I mean, the fact that he didn't even feel close enough to tell her that after he claimed that he had such a normal family and all that, that should have been a red flag right there. And I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, you know, we're just starting out. You know, things will get better. This is just temporary. And not only that, even when the abuse started in that relationship, and I wanted to go home. My whole thing was, and this is where some people got kind of ignorant with it. They were like, well, you don't need to take all your stuff with you. Just take, you know, a week's worth of clothes, grab the most important things, and get the hell out of there or whatever. But I mean, what they don't realize was that before I started working, and even after I started working, for the most part, when I went to work, that was one time that I was away from them. So that was one time that I could take care of non what's his face related things. But obviously, you know, being at work, I couldn't get, you know, too much done. And then a lot of times I was there alone with him, and he would go through my text messages. At one point, when I complained about being homeless, and I said, you know what, if you're not gonna, because he had a job interview for a job that was gonna pay more. And I was like, well, you need to go after that job. You need to take the one that pays more. And he said, well, dumbass, where are you gonna go all day? And I got so mad about that because I had given up my whole life for this guy, right? So I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. If I'm not gonna live here. I'm too good to be homeless. I deserve way better than this. I'm gonna go back home to Missouri. And we were in the car outside of the unemployment office one day. You know, I told you we went there to apply for jobs all the time. And so I slammed the car door and I ran inside. And then a few minutes later he comes in and he's like, oh, let's go outside, let's go, we had an interview to get an apartment that day, let's do that. And I'm like, oh, I guess he found out I was angry and that really worked. And I saw there was some guy standing outside the unemployment office wearing in dreadlocks. And I was like, oh, I guess he heard me tell you to fuck off and slam the car door or whatever. And he was like, oh yeah, and he also saw me destroy your computer. And I'm like, what? I wanted to go home right then and there. And of course, you know, I'm screaming, I'm yelling, I'm frantic, I'm yelling about how this is a gift from my grandfather. I mean, I go to school online on my laptop. I use my computer to upload modeling pictures. I use it for media. I use it for music. I mean, I can't believe that somebody would break my laptop just because I disagreed with him for something that I should have disagreed with him with to begin with. So I yelled at him for that, and he just kind of smiles or doesn't say much of anything about it. And then eventually he takes my wrist and he bends it all the way back. He pulls into a gas station, and he's like, "Are you gonna calm down now?" And of course, my thought is, I'm gonna call my parents and just, you know, come home the first way that I can. But obviously, it doesn't go like that, because this is before I was able to get a job. So I wasn't really able to I think my whole thing was the reason why I stayed a lot longer than I needed to in that relationship was because I was afraid of getting out of there without getting caught. I mean, after I started working at Walmart when I was down there, I eventually saved up some money to, and I guess this is the ignorant thing that people don't realize. I'm like, yeah, money's not an issue. I can save up money for a bus ride home. But my whole thing is, because there were times that he was supposed to go to work and he stayed home. Or, you know, what if he gets fired or something again? And that's why I was trying to be like, I need somebody from back home to come down there and get me, because I need that, you know, I need that security blanket, you know. If something goes wrong, or even if I try to leave in the morning at a time that he's not there, what if he suddenly comes back? Or, I mean, any number of things could happen, and people are like, "Oh, just get your sit and leave." It shouldn't be that much of a thought process. If it's that bad, then get out. I mean, my parents couldn't come and get me. My friends and family couldn't come and get me. I mean, I was just in a bad place, and in a way, I don't feel like I deserved the abuse. I don't think I deserved it when he hit me or choked me or put scratches on my face, or when he would yell at me, or when he would insult me, or, you know, when he would go through my phone, or when he even had somebody, and I don't think I should have to defend myself for this. I was defending him in a Facebook inbox to my mom. And he was like, "Well, I had somebody hack into your Facebook and look into that. And I don't know why your parents want to call me a liar just because I had you come down here, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. That's part of being an adult. That's part of life. I've never met somebody in my life that was so selfish and so immature and so callous. And again, he wasn't like that. I mean, I have a really high self-esteem. I'm not going to be with somebody that doesn't respect me, or that doesn't meet up, you know, that doesn't meet my standards. But like, when I first met him, he was really supportive. He was really genuine. He treated me like the princess I deserved to be treated like. Like, I really thought that he was a great guy. I had never met anybody like him before. And then by the time I get out of town and get with him, I realized, oh shit, I just felt so alone in that whole situation. It wasn't even, I mean, it was just such a horrible thing to go through, and nobody was able to help me. There was no privacy. I mean, I think that's why I'm not trying to date anybody or be with anybody now. I mean, I kind of look at it like, you know, I had dated some guys before or whatever, and, you know, but I think there is a reason why I just kept it so casual before, you know. I think there is a reason why I like to have my own freedom, my own independence. I mean, right now, I was able to come back home. I was able to get my job. I'm currently working towards getting a car, get my own place again, everything like that. I still have the modeling thing going, still in school for psychology, still video blogging, obviously, still writing. What? I'll be up there in a minute. I'm busy. Sorry, I gotta wrap this up. The pizza delivery just got here, and my mom's hungry and I'm hungry, so I'm not gonna keep you on here too much longer. But I mean, he had made up contracts. He had made up everything, saying that he wasn't gonna do that stuff again. And I was still secretly planning on getting home the whole time. But I learned a long time ago to stop talking about going home, because then that would cause a whole nother thing, and that's why I wasn't gonna do that. So I was like, if I leave, it has to be midnight. Alright, my cat's bothering me. So if I'm gonna do that, it has to be like when he's least expecting it. I had to plan it, and then eventually, 7 or 8 months later, I got out of there. Hold on, cat. But what I did was I took like 6 bags of stuff in a large box to load it on a bus, and I had to make sure that he didn't see the, I had to make sure he didn't see my bus ticket. I was calling cabs. I was just doing so much just to get out of there. And I wrote him a little note saying, you know, I complained about being I complained about being unhappy, and you didn't listen to me, and I'm going home. I'm not going to take any abuse anymore. And I forgot what exactly I said in that note. And he actually had the nerve to call me and be like, what are you talking about? I didn't even abuse you right before you left. That was weeks ago since I did that. And he even said that, oh, the reason why I broke your computer, or the reason why I did this and that is because you had it coming, or because of your behavior. Or, I mean, he even went as far as to say that I was schizophrenic before. And I'm like, I mean, that was just such a dark and lonely place for me that I never want to go back to again. So I do want to share some advice for the warning signs of an abusive relationship, because a lot of the time people do have high standards and everything like that, and people do think that they're avoiding that, but sometimes by the time they realize how bad it is, they're in too deep. So one of the warning signs is jealousy, insecurity. I mean, we all have things that maybe we would like to change about ourselves, but if it's to the point that you're inflicting that on people, like especially your significant other, all the time, then that's a problem. If it's just to the point that you can't, you know, you're dictating what she dresses, you're controlling, controlling and abusive are big signs right ahead. Even if it's just a little bit at first, eventually it'll spiral out of control. Okay, what's another thing that he did? Obviously the whole, you know, if he hits you once, he'll do it again. Okay, or if a guy's watching this and says they've been in an abusive relationship, if she hits you once, she'll most likely do it again. Or if they have an opinion about you before and you think, oh, they just said that because they were angry. If it comes up more than once, then they really feel that way about you. Let's see. Trying to think, what else did he do that was a red flag? Oh yeah, if his or her values are a lot different than yours, that's a red flag. And I don't mean that opposites can't attract. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, sometimes, I mean, you know, variety is the spice of life. But I mean, if you have literally nothing in common, if it's to the point of, like, you know, like I like to go shopping all the time, I like to dress up, I like to look nice, and I mean, he was to the point of, he was a downer. He was like, I remember even when we were at Job Corps together, because I would sometimes get all dressed up, do my hair, my makeup, put on some of my best outfits or whatever, and he would be like, oh, Lauren, why are you, what's the point in doing all that? In a few hours you're going to have to go back to your dorm and take off those clothes and wipe out the makeup anyway, so what's the point in getting dressed up for a few hours? I mean, if somebody is that much different than you, then you don't need to be with that person. And I think something else I wanted to share was that people always want to say that it's so hard to get out of an abusive relationship, and I agree with that 1000%. It really is, especially if you do love that person and you do care for that person and you still want to see the good in them. And especially in my situation, since I was so far away from my friends and my family, you know, just miles away like that. But I mean, and I'm not going to judge anybody, because I don't think it's fair when somebody judges me or thinks that I was stupid to stay as long as I did. But I mean, there's people that are like in bad relationships locally, you know what I mean? Like, they probably have a friend or a family member that lives like 10 or 20 minutes away, or probably no more than an hour away. I mean, how is it that I, at, you know, 5'2" and, I don't know, 110 or 115 pounds, was able to get all my stuff all the way? I lugged it up from bus to bus just to get home with my own money, with my own resources, and people have, you know, family and friends a lot closer to them, and they're like, oh, it's so hard to leave. And I'm like, you had more of an opportunity than I did. In fact, I was thinking of I was thinking of one of my friends that I helped out before that was going through something with their significant other, and I was able to, this is when I still had my car, I was able to drive over there, we had a few drinks, I was able to make them feel better. And I just kept thinking, when I was out of town, I didn't have my own Lauren. I didn't have a friend like me to get me out of that. I got out on my own, and I came home and I got a job on my own. I'm working towards getting a car and my own place on my own. I mean, sometimes in life, all you have is yourself. And I'm not saying that I'm never gonna date anybody ever again in life, but I mean, I'm not gonna say I felt stupid for being with him, but I'm just saying. I mean, I've done so many smart things in my life. I just feel like, how could I not have seen the signs unless I was just that, that blind in love or whatever. But I mean, when it comes to me dating a guy, I have like a tough screening process. I put them through, I guess what I call them, tests. I see little things like, are they gonna hold the door open for me? Are they gonna help me when are they going to help me when I need it, just like I would help them when they need it? Are they going to introduce me to their family? Are they going to introduce me to their friends? Are they going to support me and love me? Are they going to compliment me? Are they going to do this and that? And at one time he was doing that. And so I just want to finish with this. Ladies or gentlemen, if you're in an abusive relationship, nobody deserves to be hit. Nobody deserves to be talked down to. Nobody deserves to be homeless and to have somebody just brush it off. Nobody deserves to have their feelings ignored. Nobody deserves to have concerns go unnoticed. So I mean, if you really want to get out, then you can get out. Whether you get out by yourself, like I did, whether you have a friend or a family member that can help you, whether you can get to a battered women's shelter. Oh yeah, I actually, because this is another ignorant thing that some people told me. They were like, well, why didn't you call the police when he broke your computer? Why didn't you call the police when he hit you or whatever? And I'm like, I mean, I did call the police, but they said they couldn't do anything. And I was, like I said, I was still pretty shaken up about the laptop thing. And by the time I called about that, I guess it was too late. But for some reason, we were staying at a hotel at the time. I got him banned from a hotel that he's never going to go back to. I mean, at some point, I got to the point that I was kind of thinking, like, I wonder if I could stay here and be miserable and just pout all the time and make him suffer just like I'm suffering. And then I realized that's no life to live. I'm not going to stay here and be miserable just out of spite. I'm not gonna stay here, and because he kept saying he would always be nice right after he did it. I think he was bipolar. He would say, I'm gonna buy you a new computer, we're gonna have such a nice life together, blah blah blah. So I was kind of thinking, if he did something, mischievous to me and broke my computer behind my back, what if I stay here and wait around for the computer and then leave after he gets that? I mean, if he's gonna lie to me and hurt me, then I can hurt him too. But it's not worth it. If it's that bad, fuck revenge and get the hell out of there. And I think that's just what I'm going to close with. This is a little over 20 minutes. Anyway, you can like, comment, subscribe, share this video, let other people know about domestic violence and that nobody deserves to be treated that way. Thank you guys and have a nice day, and I'm going to sign off now, and let me know about other topics that you would like me to talk about.